Keeping with the ego-driven writer versus one that's doing it more for their own healing or for the greater good, do you see maybe a younger writer, let's say under 30, who's gone through early childhood trauma, have maybe what they call an old soul?
Yes.
And more of an authentic voice versus someone who had an idyllic childhood but hasn't really had that sort of thing that's really going to change them happen yet?
Hasn't had the moment of loss, like the humbling life moment, the all is lost. I think I've had both writers. I know when I was staffing at the studio that what I found was writers would get so hung up on, should I get a master's degree? Should I, this, should I that? Should I have studied film? And I think what I came to find was that writers who went from undergrad to masters, and I actually have even had writers who got their MFA and then got their law degree, and then they go to the writer's room. And that's like they haven't experienced enough of life. That's like they've been in a schoolroom and they haven't really known the ups and downs versus a 30-year-old writer. I remember I recently had a writer who was under 30 who I said to her, what do you think your voice is? And she said, oh, I know what my voice is. I tend to write teen drama where there is an underdog element and it's moving through that, the stresses that are involved with that. And I said, all right, I like that. Do you know what your wound is, where that came from? And she's like, oh, I absolutely know my wound. And it was so, like, this was an old soul. Like, she had such clarity with what she wants to say through story was coming from. And she said, my mom had many kids before she was ready. And 2 of my siblings had autism and Asperger's. And my mom wasn't ready to deal with that. So I became the parent. And so I felt emotionally abandoned by my mom. And I write stories where the central character's wound is emotional abandonment.
Wow.
So that for me was like, I was like, all right, you're a writer. Like, you understand how to process life and bring it to the page. And you understand at such an early age what you have to say.